New Orleans is set to host Super Bowl 59 in February, and the entire state of Louisiana will feel the economic impact. From the guaranteed spike in tourism to the boost in revenue for our small businesses and restaurants, Louisianians are ready to welcome in the hundreds of thousands of fans and more than 6,000 members of the media. We're joined by the man who's responsible for making all of this happen, Cicero. Thank you so much for joining us.
Thanks for having me on.
We were already talking about this and how exciting this is for the city. New Orleans is a longtime host of the Super Bowls. Why is this legacy so important?
It's extremed important. And first of all, it's not just me, by the way, who's putting on the Super Bowl. There's a whole host committee of thousands of people led by not only the greater Enron Sports Foundation, but the New Orleans Saints. And we have a chairman, Marcus Brown from Entergy Corporation, who is helping us formulate the host committee. We have 16 active committees that are working with about 1,000 people involved already.
We were briefly talking about this earlier, and you were kind of telling me about the process that goes into making something like this happen in a very short way. Like, what goes behind this, the behind the scenes of this?
Well, it started 6 years ago when we bid on Super Bowl for 2024. Mrs. Benson led the way to a pitch with a pitch to the NFL owners, because they're the ones who choose where a Super Bowl is awarded. And it's a 15-minute pitch. We obviously were awarded 2024, and when the NFL expanded from 16 to 17 regular season games, it pushed our game date in 2024 to the second weekend of Mardi Gras. And so, knowing you can't host the Mardi Gras and Super Bowl in the same weekend, we were wise enough to put in our contract that if there was an expansion of the regular season and it resulted in a conflict with Mardi Gras, then we'd be awarded the next available Super Bowl, and that was 2025.
And the city has grown so much since the last Super Bowl. You know, we're expecting so many people to be here. What's the economic impact of all of this?
In 2013, 11 years ago, it was $480 million in economic impact, and there was 5,000 members of the media. Now it's 6,000 members of the credentialed media that are there that'll be covering all week. And those are opportunities that only come along, once every 10 years or so when we're hosting this event.
And y'all have already proven that New Orleans can do this.
Oh, absolutely. Again, the 11th time that the NFL at the Super Bowl has been in New Orleans, and the 4th time for the greater Enron Sports Foundation to serve as the staff.
So what's safety and security going to look like for an event as large as this?
Well, it's obviously safety and security is of the utmost importance. And it's a collaboration of leadership from NOPD, the state police, the federal agencies that are all involved in this. And the NFL, of course, is extremely involved in it. But they're putting together a plan. And there'll be numerous agencies involved in the personnel and the planning process. And, to be able to execute that plan is going to be the utmost importance. So our job as a host committee with safety and security is to make sure everybody's talking, everybody's getting together, everybody is communicating, and that the NFL is getting what they need from Louisiana and the greater New Orleans area as far as security is concerned.
And let me ask you this when we go back to economic impact. How long is this going to be felt after the Super Bowl game? Well,
when you consider all the infrastructure improvements that are happening, a $500 million renovation of the Superdome, those will last for a lifetime for some people. And then the infrastructure improvements for around the Superdome and downtown and the French Quarter and happening around the city, there'll be tens of years there that those will be felt. So, the Super Bowl is just more than just a game, and this impact is extremely important.
And what can people expect who are going to be planning to attend this Super Bowl if they would like to? Because we know those tickets are not cheap.
Well, they're not available to the general public right now. Woo! But if someone is lucky enough to be able to go to the game, be one of the 70,000 people that are in the dome. By the way, there'll be 125,000 people in New Orleans. 50,000 of them will not be able to go to the game.
Oh my gosh!
So, but they'll be enjoying the game at their favorite bar and restaurant in the French Quarter.
Lucky is the right word.
Exactly,
yeah.
and so there'll be fans of the two teams who will come in just to celebrate, and we love that. New Orleans is built to host the Super Bowl, that's for sure.
So I have to ask you your predictions now before we wrap this up. What are your predictions?
For the Super Bowl? Saints Chiefs in the Super Bowl. I've got the Saints winning. And you know, Travis Kelce and Taylor are going to be disappointed, but the Saints are going to beat them that day.
All right, there we have it. Saints, Chiefs, Saints are winning. You said it here today. I'm going to go back to this, and then I'll have to shoot you an email to see what happens.
That'd be great.
All right, thanks so much for joining us today.
Thank you.